Well, Mom was a nurse, and she trained in Kansas City, Missouri, and and she worked at the hospital there. And her three brothers were doctors, and they were practicing there at St. Mary's. So she felt comfortable going to Kansas City and having the baby, and she did it with both Ag and I. And they lived in Chanute, and from Chanute she went to Kansas City.
And Chanute's in Kansas.
Kansas, and by that time all of her family was in Missouri.
Now, Grandpa, my grandpa, your dad, he was with the Santa Fe Railroad.
Yes.
And his dad was with the Santa Fe Railroad.
Yes. It was in the blood.
And so that really impacted your life, really.
It did. In fact, you asked me one time what were my best memories?
Your two most important things in life that you remember?
Trains. Trains and porches. So from the time I was born until the time I was too old to be in on the pass, we were running back and forth on trains. And it was wonderful. It was really great. And we spent a lot of time in Kansas City visiting my grandmother Owens, Mom's mother, and Grandpa. And they had a porch, a little porch. All of these places that we lived in, we didn't have yards. We didn't have a house.
So you lived in apartments?
Apartments, yeah. And so these two porches, the McNally porch and the Owens porch, were wonderful places, and the yards that went around them, they were our play. There was one section that was a drama section, and they put on plays. And after I got out of high school and I was in this, the one with the college students, we did some plays, and we traveled all over Chicago putting on the plays. Sometimes we did awards or got awards, and we were pretty good at it. And I never did a comedy. I was always the tragedy guy.
The drama queen.
Yeah. But this one time, we were in competition, and we had a pretty good reputation and everything. And as I'm making my exit off stage in all of my glory and everything, I tripped over the wires on the stage down there. There was a couch there. Instead of getting up and walking off dignified, I rolled off the stage back into the curves. Oh, it
Didn't
was,
win anything that time.
No, we did not win that year. And I think that was my final appearance with this particular group. I went in there and seeing, well, they had decided to get some food. They were planning a trip. And they had brought the food in, and he was fixing the food in the kitchen. So I stayed and I helped him, and then when they were all ready to go, they said, Mac, come on, go with us.
That was the up to Crestline?
This was
trip?
Crestline, and I didn't know any of these guys. No, you could go on, but come on, we'll have a good time. So there was Ag, and I don't remember who the guy she was dating, and another couple, Jean and Milton, and Bill were getting in this car, and they said, come on, you can ride with us. And so I went. Well, Ag and Chuck were in the Ag and her boyfriend were in front, and this other couple were right here. It was just a little bitty car. And there was only enough room for this guy that had been in the kitchen with me to be there, and so they said, well, just sit between his legs, that's fine. I didn't really know him, and so I sat on the edge of the seat all the way to Crestline.
What attracted you to Dad?
His gentleness. He was a very handsome man. His father was had a tailoring outfit company, and Bill always was just very precisionally dressed. At one time he had a camel hair coat that I fell in love with. It was just But anyway, he was, there was no anger in Bill. There was no, the war, he understood what was happening in the war, and it was a tragedy, but it didn't make him a radical or anything like that. And all his life, I never saw him get angry. I was the one that would get angry every now and then, but he was so gentle. And, just a special guy.
Now, you were married in July, and then he did end up being drafted in November of that year, November 1942. But when he was drafted, you were already pregnant.
Yes.
So what was the reaction to that?
Well, besides surprise, and what do we do now when he went off to service, and I gave up the apartment we had, and I moved in with Mom and Dad. And then in April, why, our bundle of joy appeared.
April 1943.
1943.
And Dad wasn't around for that.
No, he wasn't. It was Mom.
Delivery.
It was Mom.